What's up, guys? It's your Super Playaz back at it again with another video, and it's your host Tony G bringing you his epic Majin Vegeta deck profile. This is what I've been playtesting. This is what I've been playing pretty much since like the new stuff that came out in Draft Box 6, I think, and all the new stuff. And I think the way this deck is, it's very powerful. I think it's the best of one king in my opinion. I've been telling all my teammates. And I think it's also really good best of 3. I don't deny it. I mean, it's so good, guys. It's kind of pricey, but I will give my tips of what to exchange it for, because I do have some flex spots that I do have, but I think you could always change them out for anything less expensive, pretty much. And so we're going to start off with this awesome Majin Vegeta deck profile from your very own Tony G right here. And so Majin Vegeta and Babidi. What he does, he's an overlord leader, meaning anything with servant, you could do it once per turn and bottom deck it. And then what's great about this guy, he self-awakens. Not only that, he gains double strike. So when he attacks, add 1 card from your life and draw 1 card from your deck. And this guy gets 5k double strike. And when you're at 5 lives, this is where it's awesome. When you're at 5 lives, you get to awaken, guys. And then when you're awakened, he becomes the same thing, very similar, but this time you don't have to attack. You take 1 card from your life and add it to your hand, and then you draw 1 card, so you don't have to attack to do the effect. And then you have Overlord again for his awaken ability, so that still carries over. And then not only that, you could pay 1 green energy, activate main, and if you have a Vegeta servant card or in the bottom of your deck, you could play it. So pretty much this deck works very well. And you pretty much always have a Vegeta in the bottom of your deck, unless you misplay, like I have a bunch of times. And so we're going to go into the deck. It kind of is pricey, but it's very competitive. And honestly, with the flex spots you do have, it's still one of the best decks and the most affordable in my opinion. It's the best of one king. And let's move on to the deck profile. So this is where it gets kind of expensive. This is like the only one of the expensive cards. Like, it's a must. You definitely need. Like, I will definitely say you need 4 of these guys. No matter what, you need 4 Prince of Destruction Majin Vegeta or Evil Awaken, because 1, he helps you self-awaken, and not only that, he's a servant card, guys. So you have to run 4 of these guys. I highly recommend picking up 4 for this deck to be as consistent as you want it to be. And if you don't, and if it's a budget issue, then I highly recommend picking up like the 1-drop double strikers and to help you self-awaken. But what's great about this guy is that he's servant and helps you draw. That's the only reason I would prefer running this guy at 4 than any other 1-drop that gets double strike. And he's a servant, you get to draw. So this is, I think, a must in my opinion. I will definitely say that it's a must to have. It's like $10 to $15 right now. You can get them for $10, guys. I think so. So you don't break your bank that much. I have Babidi, Master Evil Mastermind. What's great about this guy, you search the 1 field card that makes this deck very consistent. And not only that, you have the option to either do that or look at the top 7 cards and add a Majin Vegeta or 1-drop Vegeta with the servant in its skill, and you add it to your hand. So you look at top 7. So it has 2 abilities. 1, search the field card, and 2 is look for a Majin Vegeta, pretty much. And then we have, this is the one I kind of run just because you do run kind of hand advantage a little bit. You start losing cards, but I want to make this deck as aggressive as possible. It's Supreme Kai of Time, which you get from the Vegeta starter deck. And if you have 5 or less cards in your hand, this guy or this girl becomes a pseudo combo, becomes a 10k combo, because you get an additional 5k. So it doesn't restrict you to it being a black leader, or it's just as long as you have 5 or less cards, you fulfill the requirement. Obviously, you're going to ignore the bottom part because your leader is not a black Saiyan, but a green leader. So that's all for the 1-drop battle cards. So I run 4 of those guys just because I really like to make this deck very aggressive. And it's a turn 2 kill. It's very affordable. And it's really cheap, guys. So here we go. We have 4 Great Saiyan Man, Vanquisher of Villainy. This guy's amazing just because he helps with the servant ability, or this guy's leader ability. That's why you run 4 of these guys, because you bottom deck any Vegeta card. And you'll see which is the next one that I'm going to be talking about, the one you pretty much need. And you're always at 4 lives or less pretty quickly by turn 2. So this guy's amazing. Very useful. I recommend over Paragus Super Combo any day, just because he makes your deck a lot more consistent. And then this is where I think I'm debating on 3 or 4. Honestly, if some of these cards that are kind of pricey, and you don't have enough space for it, or you can't get them, I would bump this to 4. 3 is pretty perfect for me, but like I said, if you can't get certain cards, I highly recommend bumping this to 4, guys. Very good. Whenever your opponent activates a counter, this guy comes back to active. So if they negate this guy's attack, they got to be careful because it's a 30k swing going into them because of his servant ability gets 10k. Not only that, if they negate, he's gonna restand. He's so strong, guys. He's a really good game finisher for 1 energy sometimes, and it's just a great card. And then here we have the Majin Buu Engine, because once you have the field card, you have this guy, the Majin Buu looking for a fight, 2 of them, and then Majin Buu Ghastly Energy. I run 2 and 2 split because no matter what, you'll have either one, and depending on your matchup, you either want to go to the deflect one or you want to do the barrier one so they don't KO something. Usually it's either or. I've seen it perfectly at 2 split. People do run 3 of this guy and then 2 of this guy, but like I said, it's up to you guys. It's your preference. So I honestly see 2-2 being a really good spot for me, and it helps me like search stuff, you know, makes it still really consistent. You'll see it no matter what. And then this is where it kind of differs from other builds. I do run Frieza Imperial Inspiration just because I have noticed that sometimes you don't want to give your opponent hand advantage, and when you're going for game, they do get that extra 10k, or you get that extra super combo that they got from their life. Usually turn 1, if I am not doing much and I don't have the field card and I don't have the Babidi, this is like a perfect. Your leader is still a pretty much game finisher on his own. Early on, you double strike crit them, they lose 2 cards, and what do? They have to take it. They're not gonna waste 3 cards, 4 cards from their hand to pretty much out combo this. It puts them in a really tough spot. I think 2 of these guys is good, especially with the reprint Toa deck, expert deck, or something like that. You get this for 2 already in the deck, which is a really good value in my opinion. If you guys haven't picked those cards up, I highly recommend it, because you get this guy in that deck, and this is the bread and butter of the deck. This guy, Majin Buu, the Shadow Warrior, this guy is phenomenal. He's unique. He's barrier. You don't care about this effect. It's the when this card... Oh, you do care. This is the one that you care about the most. When this card is played, look at the top 7 cards. It's only once per turn. When this card is played, look at the top card. Play 1 Dark Broly with an energy cost of 9 or less, up to 1 non-black card with Xeno in its character name. So pretty much, this lets you hit any of your Xeno targets that are 7 or 9 or less, and then play it, which is great. And when this guy's in rest mode, pretty much he's a deadly defender. If this guy's in rest mode, your opponent attacks the leader, they must choose 2 cards in their hand and ditch them. But they usually go for this guy, and this guy is phenomenal for the deck. This guy is the bread and butter. This is your game winner. This guy makes the deck so consistent. He makes it very deadly, in my honest opinion. I highly recommend picking up that deck because you get the Friezas and you get that guy in that deck. So I highly recommend getting it. And then we do run, just in case you don't have, like one time I opened up 4 of those guys in my life. You do have Majin Buu Dark Parasite. I do run 2. People only run 1. I do run 2 because he's also a Xeno target. So worst case scenario, you whiff and you happen to have your 7-drop Buu in your hand. You could easily play this guy, and then you could EX evolve on top of him. So it just makes it still consistent. That's why I run a 2 split, of this guy. Great card, very great, very powerful still. And then this is my all-time favorite card in this deck, is this guy. This is where I say, like, you don't really need a secret rare in this deck, guys, because this guy itself is a secret rare. He's a triple striker. Not only that, he's not unique, guys. That's what's crazy about this guy. So if you happen to pop off again and you happen to have the Majin Buu stuff in your hand still, you can pretty much bring 2 of these guys. And this guy himself is also a deadly defender. When he's in rest mode, your opponent can attack the leader or unison cards. Just on his own, he's already a deadly defender, and they have to turn 2, they have to combo 25k triple strike. I don't think they like that. Your opponent's going to be like, I'm stuck. And then they kind of, to get rid of him, they have to invest so much combo power. That's what I'm saying. Like, doing Frieza early on puts them in a really tough spot, guys. So I highly recommend getting 4 of these guys in that deck. And this is where, like I said, like my build's a lot more aggressive. I like double strike critting a lot more than most decks. And so I do run SS3 Son Goku, Man on a Mission. Great card, double strike crit, 20k, turn 2. Your opponent's not going to want to do that. Especially like if you run the Frieza, puts him in a tough spot as well. And then we have the 7-drop Majin Buu Royal Absorption. Like I said, you run 4, 4, and 2 of the other guys for your Xeno targets, and very strong dual attack, double strike to your opponent, to the face. And then this is where it's different. Like I said, I do run 1 Great Ape. You don't need to run this guy. You don't need to run any of the secret rares. I honestly think you could just make this deck without it. This is like, I think, a flex spot. I just like having this guy towards the end because he's just good. He's just really good to like KO like secret rares on your opponent's side. And yeah, when they're trying to kill you, they forget that you have 1 energy untapped, and then you do that. And so we run 2 dormant. Like I said, this is a flex. These are flex. I would agree. Like I would state, these are flex spots, so you don't have to run these. You don't have to run this. You could run Shocking Death Ball. It's just as good, guys. I honestly think dormant, it's like, I never use it. I just have it just in case. But I would take it out for Shocking, in my honest opinion. So run Shocking's better. And then we run, obviously, the 3 field cards. I run 3 because it's just so good. You want to see it. I ran it at 2, and then I kept seeing them in my life, and I just got mad. So I just bumped it up to 3, and even then I still get lucky. Sometimes there's only 1 in my deck. And yeah, run 3. And then obviously the bread and butter you need to make your Majin Buu go into that chain is this guy. You need for the 3-star Parasitic Darkness Dark Ball. So there you guys have it. This is the Tony G deck profile that he's been playing. This is what I've been playing the most of, honestly. I'm probably going to move to Goku's Lineage next set, but this is what I've been playing. Very great deck, very affordable. You don't need all those cards I mentioned, like the promos and all that. It's a very affordable deck. You don't need those cards, but I highly recommend it because it's very consistent. But there you guys have it. Drop a like. Definitely comment down below if I should change any cards in it. And if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe, guys. And there you guys have it from your host, Tony G. Y'all stay super.